Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day. I'm wearing an Ice Cream Uploads esports jersey, which you can find by typing !! socials in the chat live on Twitch. And this man is Bibby, who is also wearing an Ice Cream Uploads esports jersey, which you can find by typing ! merch in the Twitch. I think I said socials the first time, but it's fine. I got it right the second time. Anyway, welcome. We are Ice Cream. This is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video games podcast, without a doubt, says us. But still, we bring you your daily dose of news from the games industry and beyond. We talk about the biggest and best and the breaking stories from the world of video games. We give you our thoughts and impressions on those stories, and we want your thoughts and impressions in return. As mentioned, I am Graham. This is the man that we call Baby, who was... not only did he get up at the break of dawn to give you some Elder Scrolls yesterday, but he also stayed up until the break of dawn playing some Elder Scrolls yesterday too. So, yeah, how's life in Elder Scrolls City, Lord Bibington V?
We're doing good, Glenumbria is nearly been saved, it's nearly been lifted, so we're doing well. There's pretty much just a couple of dungeons and 2 bosses that I need to take down to be able to get that part of the world sorted out, and then we can move on to the next one. But yeah, staying up till 2:30 this morning, grinding it out, having a full Oasis gig on in the background. Obviously, it was a silent stream. For anyone who's been watching my content long enough will know that these was a regular thing back in the PES 2016 days. I used to Manfred in bed behind me, and is it not working?
No, woo.
Right, okay. This is what happened to me yesterday, which is why I had to log back into.
It's still there, it's just not there. It's the chatbot's there, but that command's not there.
When I put the command in, it didn't show anybody else. It didn't show any of the other commands. So I don't know whether or not it won't show the ones that I create on my PC or not.
Good question. I don't know.
We'll find out when I load this up in about 20 seconds time. But yeah, the silent streams was a thing that I used to do. So I did want to be able to stream, but obviously I couldn't talk because Samantha was asleep behind me, and that is still the case now. So yeah, the silent streams was just music being played in the background, and it isn't working.
I do have I want to defute that. Silent streams were something, for those that remember PES 2016. PES 2016, I remember. Yeah, Radical Heights theme tune, Bibby can't hear it, but everyone else can. Yeah.
There we go. I had to connect it again.
Okay.
There, beautiful.
But anyway, jumping back in. This isn't a silent stream. We will be waffling for roughly the next hour or so with you guys. Hopefully waffling back at us, as Keiki and Asim have already started doing so in the chat. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think silent streamer is a taken name. It's fine. We've got the Bibby, and Bibby streams silently. It's completely different. But anyway, if you are live on Twitch, feel free to get involved in the chat, because this gets turned into a video that we upload to YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, then hi, feel free to get involved in the comments down below. Obviously, we turn this into an audio podcast a little bit later on, as well as the video on YouTube. So if you are live, you get to talk to us on behalf of everyone else. You get to input your thoughts and impressions into this show, whereas those guys get to watch it on demand. I say though, guys, maybe I'm talking to you, maybe you are one of those guys and you're watching on demand. Obviously, feel free to get involved in the comments down below. Obviously, you can't interact live, but those are still taken into account. Graham looks like he needs some sunlight, says KKB. Do you know what? He actually does. I've been absolutely lurged to hell. The issue is, the main issue is, let me tinker by opening the blinds. When I open the blinds, like, the room gets absolutely washed out. Which is fine, but in Manchester the weather is like, it's not consistent. So 1 minute it's super washed out, and then the next minute it's really shadowy and dark. So I tried to just, by closing the blinds, to get a consistent level of light all the way through. Whiter than the bread on my crisp sandwich. Do you know what? Stop being racist, mate. What are you waiting to make it for, mate? It's alright, you've met me in person. You know this is not just like a camera trick. I genuinely am Casper the Friendly Ghost, just not very friendly. Didn't he talk to me about shite weather? Eh? Oh no. Anyway, I won't talk to you about shite weather, but what I will talk to you about is something pretty interesting. We have 4 stories to cover today. A little bit more meatier than yesterday. But yeah, yesterday was a little bit of a slow news day, but we've got some tasty stuff to talk about today. As you can tell from the very first news article we teased on Twitter, that the PlayStation 5 supply is likely to be limited at launch, and a higher price could lead to a lower demand. Interesting. This is written by Sam Byford for The Verge, and the article says... I need to clear my throat out. That's not done it. Let me give me one more time. I'm going to mute myself. Got it. Okay, Sony isn't expecting the delay. Sony isn't expecting to delay the PlayStation 5 launch planned for this holiday season, according to a new report from Bloomberg. But there will likely be fewer machines available than there were for the PS4 in 2013. Damn. Sony is said to be planning for shipments of 5 to 6 million units through the end of March next year, while it sold 7.5 million PS4 consoles in its equivalent launch period, with a delayed release in Japan. Ads! Thank you very much for the host. Very much appreciated. Welcome to the stream, and thanks for the carry yesterday. Very much appreciated. Anyway, the reason, according to Bloomberg, has less to do with the COVID-19 pandemic and more to do with what Sony expects for the machine in terms of demand. The PS5 is seen as a more technically ambitious machine than its predecessor, and as such is likely to command a higher price on its release date, resulting in fewer early adopters. While the PS4 launched at $399 without incurring heavy losses for Sony, one analyst told Bloomberg he thinks that the PS5 and Xbox Series X may land at $450 even as loss leaders. PS5 mass production is reportedly starting in June on schedule. That suggests an unveiling for the console box itself, the design of which is still a closely guarded secret, despite Sony having released the PS5 specs, and its controller can't be too far off. Once the system goes into production, it will be very difficult to contain leaks. The controller announcement is said to come sooner because developers already had access to it. So, short and snappy, but potentially a meaty article.
Yeah, this is stuff that we've actually covered ourselves in the last pretty much since we started. We was talking about how we think the PlayStation 5 will do on launch. Now, obviously, back when we first started talking about this before Christmas, we didn't have the COVID-19 things knocking about. We thought potentially they will have enough consoles to be able to go around. Our initial thoughts was that it was going to be completely fine. Maybe didn't hit the numbers that they hit for the PlayStation 4, because having a look at the final sales of PlayStation 4 now shows that how well that console sold from day one. But now with the COVID-19 stuff that is knocking about, my opinion was that this console will either be delayed or they will have very little available at launch, and it appears that it could be the latter, that it will be available on launch, i.e. towards the end of the year, but potentially not as many as they would like to potentially get out the door, considering how well the PS4 did. They would want as many as they could on the shelves on day one, and just sell as many as they can, rather than them being out of stock for long periods of time. But at the moment, the long periods of time of them not having them on the shelves could potentially be the way that they're looking forward for it.
Yeah, I reckon so. I'm just going to jump back through the chat first quickly. Good morning, afternoon, even Enix. Weather is so good outside. I'm now watching. I'm outside now watching you. Okay, there we go. Got there eventually. I will be outside very, very soon. Bibby got the drink out already. Steady now. Is it the Budweiser's next to him? Yeah, he's...
That's just me looking for a sponsorship. Pride and place on top of a record player.
Asim says, as long as I get one. I'm assuming he means a PS5 and not the beers, but you never know with Asim. Man's always drunk, so...
Who doesn't like a Budweiser? Do you know what I mean? A nice cold buddy.
I know loads of people that don't like Budweisers, which annoys me, because a crisp Budweiser in a frozen, bottle, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But people like Bud Light, I can't believe that, for a start. Who likes Bud Light? It tastes like fucking arseholes.
Yeah, I mean, I've not tasted many assholes myself. So.
A couple of milliseconds that there was a dead silence, and I was like, "Oh God, what have I set myself up for it?" Chief Rimmer.
We'll call you Arnold. Red Dwarf reference for everyone out there. Unless the price is astronomical, then they will be sold out for sure. I reckon that's the case. I don't think the price will be astronomical myself. But anyway, let's jump back through our catch up, and then we'll
479 down, but don't forget.
Yeah, something in that sort of ballpark.
479, I had 379.
Yeah, I thought 500 was the ballpark. But I think I went 479 because I hoped that they wouldn't do it's $500, therefore it's £500. It's like, it doesn't equate the same way. So I thought, okay, we'll go 479. But I reckon it could be easy 500. Anyway, 5 to 6 million units globally is nothing. Will be gone for launch regardless of the price. Asim says 500 to 550 pounds. KQB says exactly. Ad says it'll be 34999. Honestly, you did good yesterday. You just ruined it all now. Hey, okay, you've fixed it all. It's fine. Thank you very much for the 2-month resub ads, and thank you very much for getting us the win on stream yesterday. And we needed it, you know. I'd be happy with that price, says KKB. We'll be very surprised if it's 350 at launch. They'll be taking a huge loss per unit. KK says, I reckon 450. And then we quickly digress into a chat about bottles and cans and Bud Light fannies. So there we go. Now then, Tito, how's things? Pricing is so key. Microsoft got it wrong with the One and never recovered. I think Microsoft will be much more aggressive. They always take losses on consoles, says ads players, and Bibby's extracurriculars needs no discussing. We're talking about the...
Yes, I am.
Taster of assholes, leader of men. So yes, we've spoken about this a bunch of times, and we've every time said that we believe they would. Well, I've said I believe they would hit their launch period. I think they've said holiday 2020 so many times. Yes, COVID has been around, but the fact that production is moving, I've said I would be surprised if we don't hit that launch window. That will be a good move for Sony. Obviously, you don't want to let Xbox have a free pass at it because they had that with the Xbox 360, and that was a generation that a lot of people say they won. So I mean, they don't want to let them go first. So it'll be good for Sony to go. Plus, if they do launch on time, we say it's either they don't launch or they launch without the supply. It's gonna be that case. And we've even said a few times, we've used the PS4 comparison on the previously, saying there wasn't enough PS4s, and whenever we start talking about that, we then fall down a chute of like bitching about a game with their ridiculous markup pricing and shit like that. So we've discussed this, but yeah, now it's at the point where Bloomberg and co are picking it up. I mean, honestly, Bloomberg, if you wanted the inside stories, just watch the scoop. I mean, at either 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. weekdaily. I mean, we've got there weeks before you, and you guys have got resources to burn. Me and Bib, all we need is a couple of product placement bottles of Bud, some arse rimming or whatever.
That's what we need. I mean, if we could make this podcast into a closed caption, with the articles would write themselves. Do you know what I mean? I got text to speak. It'll be great. I'll speak to text. Yeah, speak to text. So rip the podcast, make it out into Word format. I mean, there'll be a lot of shit in there that you could probably trim out, but you can write the articles from what we say. It's easy, isn't it? Yeah, it's easy when you know.
So we've got to let other people have a chance, though. So maybe we just sit on that for a bit. So yeah, and Sam Byford writing this for The Verge. We appreciate your effort, but yeah, we did it weeks ago, mate.
I do like Asim's comment though. Say they do take slight losses, but 350 quid would mean a bigger loss than in a year. Puts huge pressure on the software side of things. If they don't have a Connect kind of thing that they bundled in last time, that was like, it didn't add like 130 quid onto the price tag of the unit base on the Xbox One last time.
Yeah, it was something along those lines. And the thing there is, like, a Connect, you kind of take it as, it's just that little thing that does something extra. But the amount of technology that is in a Connect, multiple cameras, like using them to get depth of field, and it's like all that sort of stuff that was bundled in and a forced purchase for a lot of people that would never use it.
I don't think that'll be the case this time, do you? I don't think they'll be making a new Connect. So hopefully that'll shave some money off there. I've got a feeling that they are going to have more first-party titles up their sleeve. Now, whether or not they're going to be bangers, who knows? But I think they will have a dedicated Microsoft audience on launch to warrant buying an Xbox One, whether or not it be Halo or a new Forza game or something completely new. Who knows? But I think the software side of things, they need to bring out a few things within the first 6 months of the console launch, and to warrant people around the Christmas period and beyond for the 6 months afterwards to warrant going out and buying one of these consoles. Especially again, we've said it multiple times. If the console wars was to start now and the PS5 and Xbox One was going out level pegging, I genuinely think that Xbox probably would have a nose in front with how they've treated things like Games Pass, Games Pass Ultimate, and the way that their marketing messages have led towards consumer side of things. But overall, the PlayStation now biggest market share in the world for consoles. It's going to take a lot to stop that juggernaut.
Just hook both consoles to my veins, Barney Gumblebee.
Yeah, one in each arm, please. Please.
The thing there though is, you think that Xbox would have a nose in front, and that's quite a big thing. One, to have the nose in front is huge, but two, to only just have the nose in front when we don't even know what the console, what the PS5 looks like, never mind all the details and stuff in and around it. So is that, yes, the Xbox are in front, but the PlayStation could get back in front. I think also one thing that can't be forgotten is the install base, and that could easily be translated into fanboyism. There's a lot of Xbox fanboys, but at the moment, PlayStation fanboys, and that's an easy way of me saying people that have purchased a PlayStation. It's not necessarily fanboys, but the people that have purchased a PlayStation outnumber the people that have purchased PS4 outnumber those that have purchased an Xbox One 2-1. And in PS4 I'm including the Slims and the Pros, and in Xbox One I'm including the S and the X and whatever. So 2-1 sales at least. So with that in mind, you've got to feel PS5 has the upper hand. People are in that ecosystem. People will be taking their digital catalogs, and I've got a bit of fluff floating around in front of me. I'm not just waving around for like, what ninja? So yeah, I mean, as it stands, we don't really know anything. I would still say the PS5, with history in mind, and very close history in mind, has a chance to continue in the lead. They haven't slipped up and done what Xbox did at the end of Xbox 360 generation and completely misfired with their messaging. That said, they haven't gone with their messaging, so there's still time for that. But at the end of the day, I think this generation won't matter as much as previous generations. It won't matter if you've got an Xbox or a PlayStation, because you'll be able to play with people on Xbox if you're on PlayStation, and you'll be able to play games on your PC and on your phone and whatever by the end of the generation. So which one you get matters less now more than ever. It's going to be hugely down to personal preference, and once again, as we always say, it's going to be down to the games that you want to play.
That's it. That is a lot. That is the long and short of it at the moment. It's going to be not going to be a battle of the consoles. It's going to be a battle of the exclusives. If you've got a game that people want to play, they will eventually go and get that console. I'm now able to play games that I've not been able to because I've got an Xbox One downstairs now. I can go and play them games if I want to. But as someone who's had a PlayStation 4 since launch, I've been able to play an absolute shit ton of games that I never would have been able to play if I had a different console. So as much as, like you said there, with the games being cross-play, you can play, I mean, you don't even have to have a console, you can play most games cross-play on PC now. So yeah, everyone's got the best of all three worlds at this point. I mean, if 4 worlds if you include the Nintendo Switch, which you can play things like Rocket League and Fortnite on. So yeah, it's not going to be a case of where you want to play your games, it's what you want to play, and I think that's what this generation is going to be defined by. Yeah,
I agree. KKB says, how many still use their Kinects? This is that was dropped in when we talked about removing the Kinect to lower the price of the Xbox. And then Tito says, to be fair, removing the Kinect killed the Kinect, which was an awesome piece of kit, which could have been amazing. I agree with that as well. I had a Kinect for the Xbox 360, and if I spent the extra money to buy the Kinect so that I could play Kinect games on my Xbox 360. If I can, all of the times I use that Kinect, I would need one finger. Genuinely, I used it once, and I played it in a retail store, and I played like some sort of free kit game in a game store in, I don't know if it was the Trafford Centre or wherever, and I really, really loved it. But this thing in this game store, I didn't think that it needed a huge amount of space for it, and my living room is quite a big size, to be fair. Anyway, rewind best part of 10 years, my little one, obviously not dexterous enough to play with controllers at that point in time. She was only a couple of years old. I thought, oh well, got a Zumba game for Danielle for the Kinect. Chloe can dance, so she can play around on the video game, and she's not going to do all the moves and stuff that they want, but she'll enjoy it. It'll be fun, and the amount of space and time and setup and it just wasn't worth it. So I put it away, never used it again, and then traded it in at like GameStation or CEX about 2, 3, 4 years ago, and I realised it was still in the cupboard. So yes, amazing technology. really, really good. And that's the reason why all of the Kinects that were traded in, people were buying them because people were using them for like VR and 3D demonstration tools. And all. I seem to remember something about the military buying a load of them at one point in time because they were so advanced in terms of the amount of technology they had in such a small bit of space. But yeah, it just wasn't practical enough. And I think that is the same with where we've been with VR. VR has kind of, people want VR to be successful, but VR's still just a little bit of a ball ache. We're almost there with the Valve Index. I mean, it's a little bit of a ball ache that you've got to make a bit of space and you've got to put your gloves on and you've got to put your headset on, and if you are going to stream it, you need to tinker stuff so that you can get the Twitch chat popping up in game, and it's just stuff like the Twitch chat stuff. If you're a streamer streaming VR stuff, you can't. Most people think, oh yeah, I'll stream in VR, that's cool. But then thinking about how you still interact with all of your chat and everything as you would normally as a streamer, you either have to ignore them completely and have sessions where you sit down and catch up with your chat, or you have to think about using separate programs that will spaff the chat and stuff, or give you audio cues as when people are talking to you, which is fine if you're a small streamer. But if you're Summit 1G with 300,000 people watching you play Valorant or something like that, then your chat's just going to be so yeah. I think Kinect is good, but I think Kinect was always. I mean, it was a hugely amazing product, but I do think augmented reality, which is essentially what Kinect led to, will always be behind virtual reality. So Kinect was killed, but in essence, Oculus and HTC and all the other VR manufacturers were destined to kill the Kinect off anyway. As an Xboner and fanboy, I'll concede the PS4 kicked the Xbox's ass, but because of software and bad marketing, not down to hardware. If Microsoft can avoid that, I think they'll come out on top. I think that's it. I mean, nobody's ever disputed that the PS4 is the better console in terms of hardware. Some people probably have, actually. I mean, I don't give a shit, to be fair, if I'm being honest. It has the better games, and that's it. It's the software. If you could tell me that you've got an extra 12 gig, but if you play the same games that look exactly the same on your console and my console, then 12 gig of what? I mean, what are you using it with? How much? I don't care how your hard drives and so on. It's all of that doesn't get used in the cross-platform games. It's the exclusives, and I don't think Xbox had enough exclusives to fully utilize that, whereas Sony did. And even if it wasn't utilizing all of the power of PS Pro in their exclusives, the exclusives were just still better, in my opinion. Xbox is dead already. You'll have 10-minute loading time still. Ooh, adds with the salt. Kinect wasn't just killed, it was murdered. Kappa. Ironic as Ghost Hunter now use it. Ghost Hunter now use what? The Kinect? I don't know. Yes. Anyway, so, yeah, PS5 supply, very limited launch. It's going to be an interesting one. I don't know whether to pre-order it. I don't know whether to do my usually what I like to do with a console. I don't like to have it ordered online. I know loads of people do, and quite often you get it wonderful. It turns up, but there's so many stories of like an Amazon delivery not coming and then stock being out of stock, and you have to wait for it to be resent, and you sat there going, I don't know whether I'm getting it or I'm not or whatever. So I usually like to go and pick it up in store in my hands, like bam, there it is. Most things I'll happily order online, but a console, because it's so important, I like to make sure I've got it. But the downside with that is, if you go into a store, because supply is limited, are you going to get it in your hand anyway? So what do we think is the right way to go? What are you going to be doing, babe?
I am going to wait. Not that I already know what I'm going to be getting. Call me a fanboy or whatever. I am, at the moment, extremely happy with the way that I've been playing my PlayStation. So... yeah, I'm not looking to change anytime soon. I don't know. I genuinely don't know, because everything within the next 6 months, 6 months is a long time, whether or not we're still going to be having to be isolated inside the house, or I'm able to go down to the shop and buy it. I really don't know. I'd much rather, very much like I buy my games now, want to be able to physically have it. Not that I can't get a console digitally, you know what I mean, rather than someone bring it to me, but the fact that I know I can go and pick it up on the morning of the store opening, makes a lot more sense to me, that rather than hoping that it arrives on the day that it comes out.
Yeah, the flip side...
I don't want to be in a virtual queue.
Yeah, I agree. The flip side of that, though, is I missed out on the Was it the 1 billion or 1 million or 10 million? I can't remember what the name of it was. The sexy blue PS4 that was like, or is it 500 million? I think it was. I can't remember.
It must have been like 10 million or 100 million because I've only sold 106 mil.
All I know is I didn't get it, but Crispo did. And I didn't get it because pretty much all stock was gone. We had those things. There's people still on Gumtree now trying to flog the blue PS4 Pros, the 7 bajillion edition or whatever it was called. There's people still trying to sell those for 700 quid on Gumtree now because they bought them all up in local stores. I had no chance of getting it because I was waiting to see. I wanted to see it in store. However, Crispo ordered it online and got his straight away. Ta-da! It was good. PlayStation 500 million. Yeah, it's the 500 million. I think it's 500 million PlayStations sold as opposed to PS4 sold. So 500. There we go. Let's bring that one on screen. I really liked this one. I needed a PS4 at that point in time anyway. A Pro, should I say? Needed a PS4 Pro. This one came out, 1 terabyte hard drive. A sexy blue glacier sort of style. I thought, yeah, I want that.
It is the nicest console that they've had out in forever.
I love the fact that they were all individually numbered as well, like 00001 of 50,000. However, they went in no time. Crispo managed to get his, and that's the trade-off: is do I buy online or do I go in store and get it in my hands, knowing that if I buy online, it might not turn up, and I could be waiting days for it. I could miss the boat, or do I go and buy in store? And maybe they've all sold out or they've not had enough stock, whereas online it could have been in the way. Nobody really knows what's the best, but it'd be interesting to know what you guys are doing so that I can completely ignore all of your advice and do it my own way and get it wrong anyway. Anyway, let's move forward. All we can take for that from that for certain is that the PS5 supply is probably going to be limited. We've been saying that for a few weeks anyway. But be prepared. Make anything you can. Make any plans that you can so that you can go out and pick it up early or pre-order it early, so that make sure that you've got your console coming, because it's looking like there's not going to be a lot around. So you are going to be stung by shitty high street retailers that are going to put markups and make you either pay over the odds for the console or buy a lot of accessories and peripherals that you don't need, but they have add-on sales to make.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so like I said, moving forward, Bibby said we could be locked in for, I don't know, another 6 months. Nobody knows. It could be going on forever, but something has already taken a hit from COVID, as we've spoken about it and we've kind of hinted at it previously. I genuinely thought this wasn't going to happen, but the guys in Germany know a little bit more than me, and what I'm talking about is that it looks like a lot like Gamescom's physical show won't go ahead. This is written by Emma Kent for Eurogamer, and if you can hear a lawn being mowed in the background, it's because I've opened my window because it's warm in this room, so just enjoy the sights and sounds of Manchester, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, update: Gamescom will take place but digitally, so we'll go through the original story and then we'll jump back up to the updates, just so we know what's happening in time. So this original story broke late on yesterday, and it says, it seems that this year's Gamescom will not be taking place as usual, as major events are being prohibited until the 31st of August as part of the German government's coronavirus response. The news comes from the German press agency, which says that the German Prime Minister and Chancellor Angela Merkel agreed to prohibit all large events at a conference earlier today. Specific regulations concerning the size of events are due to be made by the federal states, but given Gamescom pulled in over 370,000 visitors in 2018, I think it's fair to say it will be included in the ban. Gamescom had previously announced plans to continue preparations for its 2020 event as planned, albeit while following the recommendations of the authorities. Gamescom is yet to publicly comment on the latest development, but it previously promised a significantly expanded digital show, which may now form the entirety of Gamescom 2020. If the event is indeed cancelled by Kölnmesse, ticket holders will be reimbursed. And then, okay, that's an embedded tweet. I'll jump over the embedded tweet and straight back to the final line there. The Cologne-based show is only the latest in a long line of gaming events to be affected by social distancing measures. GDC, E3, and EGX Res include just some of the major events to have been cancelled or delayed. And now we'll jump back up to the update, which says, After the German government announced all large gatherings would be banned throughout August, Gamescom's organisers have confirmed that the 2020 show will definitely take place digitally. Plans were already in place to offer a significantly expanded digital show, including existing digital formats such as Gamescom Opening Night Live. Details on the digital event currently remain light, but further information is due to be revealed shortly. And then we have an embedded tweet here, which isn't showing up quite right, so I'll just hopefully read it. And it makes sense. Even though not all details are known at present, the nationwide ban on major events until the end of August will also affect the planning for Gamescom 2020. Furthermore, Gamescom 2020 will definitely take place digitally. We will provide further information shortly. COVID-19 continues to be a twat. Is the update? There we go. This next story. So thoughts, Bib.
It wasn't that long ago actually that we was talking about this potentially being cancelled. Was it last week that we actually brought the news? That the news broke that they had tried to sort something out to potentially have this go on in September? Or was it October? I can't remember. Oh, August. Jesus, neither of those. But yeah, it didn't feel that long ago since we spoke about this potentially going ahead. So yeah, it kind of was inevitable. I'm sure that was a conversation that we had on this. It was inevitable that it was going to get cancelled. It's a shame, but when we found out that E3 was going to be cancelled, it was kind of make or break for them. Do we think that this is going to be make or break for Gamescom with the way that they now have to digitally provide people and consumers with a digital expo? Do you think it's going to be a make and break like it was 3-3?
I don't think it is in that sort of sense.
Because they're not going to be selling tickets for it, are they?
No, I think the difference there is E3 doesn't have as many attendees.
What was that? What was that?
Someone clip that. The lean as well to let it out. Like, my God. Baby, do you want me to just go full screen while you go change your underwear or something? Cause
I don't know what that was. Did it run over a cat or what?
Wow, that was amazing. That was amazing. Round of applause.
The microphone's pretty good. Isn't it?
Round of applause. It was the way you went. Anyway, I don't even know where I was now. What was we talking about? Gamescom. Oh yeah, that was it. I don't think Gamescom is under as. I don't think it being cancelled in essence of the physical show at least. I don't think that is as impactful for Gamescom as it is for E3. Sounded like a trumpet in the distance. Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, there was 370,000 people that attended Gamescom. What was E3 closer to like 100,000 people? So you're looking at almost 4 times the attendance. So there's 4 times the demand for Gamescom. Yes, they won't be able to hold the event at the Kölnmesse, which they probably make money from. But if they're holding a digital-only event that has 400,000 people potentially going to watch it. I mean, I say that 400,000 people. That 400,000 people were going to attend a physical event in one place in the centre of Europe. Having it online, that could easily be 1.5 million people, maybe more. I don't know what the numbers would be, but the potential for growth there is huge. Whereas, as far as I'm aware, I could be wrong with this. E3 is a big money spinner for the ESA in terms of, I believe they profit off the show very much, and if there's anybody in the stream that is clip from Iceman CFB baby fat, and if there's anyone from the industry that has anything they can share, no doubt obviously industry guys won't be able to share costs and stuff that they usually spend because NDAs and that, but I believe E3 isn't cheap to attend, and I believe that is ESA earn a lot from that. So how can they transition into providing a digital show where they still earn the same money that they essentially need? So do I think it's as drastic for Gamescom having to move to a digital show? Probably not. And yeah, I think the fact that it was always a consumer show, or has was it always? Oh, it has been a consumer show for as long as I've known it anyway. So there we go. E3 is very expensive and makes up a huge amount of the ESA's revenue profits. Yes, exactly. That's I was thumb mouthing saying. I was trying to say that was essentially the gist of it. The ESA needs E3 more than Gamescom's creators need the physical show for Gamescom. In my impression, anyway. I don't know how they would actually direct, but that would be my impression. The fact. I believe it won't make as much of an impact to Gamescom. Plus, they've been on the ball anyway with things like Opening Night Live and just the general comms, and in true stereotypical German fashion, they've been very, very efficient at keeping on top of the whole COVID stuff in terms of providing information. Okay, something's changed. This is how we're reacting to it, being quite transparent and open. And their event's not until the end of August. E3 is supposed to be at the start of June, and we still know less about that. So, yeah, I think these guys will react to it much, much quicker. That is the ESA then used to recompense the attendees that they're doxed. If they ever did that, no, they just recompense them and go, nothing happened. Let's look at something else, because they're twats.
They just bought an even bigger carpet to sweep shit under.
Yeah, exactly. Justin Alstu, what is oatmeal? I think Bibby's just shown exactly what that is on stream just a few seconds ago. There's a clip in it, just in the chat there. Yeah, so it sucks. I mean, I was kind of, after a long-ass summer and having no E3s, and we still have no PlayStation announcements yet, although we every day that goes past, we are closer to the PS5 announcement, things like that. The thing is, we don't really know when that is. So having Gamescom on the calendar was kind of nice for me. I know that there's things to look forward to then. I know Opening Night Live is going to have the new... it could be the new Call of Duty trailer, or it could be the new Kojima thing, or whatever thing has been... the big magic moments that you've seen at previous conferences. There was going to be something of that ilk at Gamescom. And yes, we'll still have that in Opening Night Live. It's a digital show; we can see it all on the air. But it's a little bit of a it's a bit nice being there when the show's going on as well, which I was going to be, but now I'm not. So fuck those. So yeah, it sucks a little bit. Will that change anything? No, the games will still be made. We will still get to see them. We might fall into more of the Steam stuff that we were talking about. The Steam Festival allowing people to play more games online using demos and things like that, which would be really cool from a consumer perspective. So it's not a big loss, but it's like someone taking something nice away from Christmas. Christmas is still going ahead, but something nice, something tradition that you used to do or that you really like to do or whatever, you're not going to be able to do that bit, which sucks a little bit. Yeah. What is oatmeal? I want to know what was the point of that. I wonder how other conventions. I mean, I know what oatmeal is. I want to know what the question was. Was that supposed to be a troll? I don't know. I wonder how other conventions will do with some government scientists calling for social distancing to be extended to at least the middle of next year to stop a second flare. I've seen that quite a few times. To be fair, I don't like to comment on it because I mean, nobody really knows. Most scientists that are good scientists will say, well, to be honest, we don't know. We're just giving the best advice based on what we have in front of us. But that advice could change when things in front of us change. So, but yeah, I've seen quite a few different governmental scientists saying that if they relax it too soon, then we could just be back to lock-in again. But yeah, we don't know.
Well, I was speaking to Samantha about this last night. She said that hasn't a few cases in China come back out again? Like a few cases have been brought back. I don't know what's the terminology. It's completely going on my head here. It's started to happen again, not to the extent that it happened originally, but there's been a few cases that have broken out again. That's the phrase I'm looking for.
Outbreak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've had like a couple of them that have been spotted around again. So, did they open their businesses back up too early, or?
Well, I also saw, and once again, I'm taking all of this with a pinch because the amount of fake news on the internet, because people have got time on their hands at the moment to chat shit online. I saw there was, was it the American government announced that
Oh god, yeah.
that China had doctored their stats or something, so that they weren't actually. So whilst they said that there was only 3,000 people that had it, they found that there was actually shitloads more, and they were lying about it, kind of thing, in terms of cover up to make it not look as big as it is. Which, I mean, why would you do that if that is the case? Because we all suffer from it. You can't just go, no, these people aren't really dying. It's because you've got to catch it yourself. Move away. Anyway.
Did you see the picture of the? I don't even know what to call them. I found the perfect phrase actually. The scruffy bastards in America that were screaming outside of a mayor's office, where it looked like something out of Shaun of the Dead.
No.
Have you not seen it?
No.
It was trending last night. Let me see if I can find it dead quick. Basically, there was a load of people in America that was screaming outside of a mayor's office, I think it was, to ask them to
Lansing, Michigan.
open the businesses, but open the businesses back up again. But there was like campaigning. Let's see if I can find this picture. I've just googled what Iceland just put in. It looked like something out of Shaun of the Dead. The picture was amazing. It's just like a load of people that you can imagine just being horrible, thick bastards.
Remove the Whitmer regime, and a bunch of people stood on steps with like machine guns and things like that. I've...
See if I can find it. I can't find it.
Oh well. Yeah, I think. I mean, we could be going on forever. We're just about to get the lockdown extended in the UK, no doubt, probably in the next couple of hours. So it could keep going. It could keep going forever. Gathering for a protest against social distancing. Was it?
There we go.
So I've searched for Lance.
I sent you in Discord.
Discord. 1 second then.
Oh, this was in Ohio.
Let's go to the scoop shoulder. So I can. Okay, I'll just open that up. So the scoop, is it going to be on split? Is it going to be there? There we go. There's the image. I don't know if you can see that. If not, I will open that there. Okay, it's open. I've lost my Chrome. There it is. Boop. Boop. Okay, it does actually look like a Shaun of the Dead kind of thing.
Yeah, someone actually put a picture underneath. If you scroll down, yeah, I seen it. Alana Pierce tweeted it yesterday, like a subtweet to it. That's how I came across it. But someone's posted a picture saying that it's uncanny, and then it's got the shoulder.
That's amazing. Good effort.
Where's the cornetto? Exactly. It's just absolute dickheads. This is the reason why the world is going on its ass, because people are campaigning against the wrong things. You know what I mean? They're screaming at people about the wrong things. They're not choosing the battles. They just want to battle every single battle there is to do. They want to go to war for everything. They'd rather die on every hill than just choosing the battles, and it just shows how thick people can be.
Imagine campaigning and protesting against an agency trying to look out for your best interests.
It's so fucking... It's stupid.
Yeah, but I know better than you. I'm safe. Let me go back to work. How are you safe? How do you know that? Where is your information coming from? Someone said it online. Okay, and where did they get the information from? I don't know, but they said it to me. So you've not researched past it. That's where fake news comes from. That's what I was saying. I've seen some bits about American government talking about China. I'm taking that at face value. I don't know. It could entirely be fake because I haven't found that research out for myself, and a lot of people don't see that. It's amazing how many people don't understand that. If you hear something on the news, Fox News, there we go, as Iceman says, if you hear something on the news, doesn't mean it's true. It's on the news. Mm-hmm. You need to know where the source of that news comes from, and that's what 50 years ago, that was a journalistic integrity thing. Quite often, journalists would find a story and they would find out where it came from, and it was undisputed fact. And before they put it in the paper and before they put it in the news, most of the time. Whereas nowadays, less so, particularly with social media, because you don't have industry standards. You aren't regulated by authorities as a guy on Twitter, so your news doesn't need to be legit. So people will just post shit and it goes from there. But now news agencies in the need of keeping up with that do the same sort of thing. They do less in investigation into whether the stories are real or not, and just post shit anyway. The lack of journalistic integrity is much, much worse than it was a million years ago. So yeah, I mean, Shaun of the Dead situations like that, where you've just got Johnny Numpty stood outside a window going, "Let me go back to work." It's like, mate, you literally stood in a crowd of about 20 people there. You're probably gonna...
Oh god, I didn't even think about that. Looking at the picture now, it was just like, oh my god. But then again, they won't care anyway if they're campaigning to get your corner shop back open again, are they? It's thick. It's just thick people.
Is it just me or the contestants for the LG Nobel... LG? Is that LG? IG? Luke? Nobel Prize coming out in force these days. I don't get the reference. China still have it worse. They're hiding it more now, the news talk pish. I mean, that's what the news implies, but I haven't done any research into that, so I can't vouch for that being real or not. That's what it looks like, but I mean, someone could provide me some undisputed evidence that says actually they are, but I've not seen it myself, so what do I know? Unfortunately, we live in a time where people have been conditioned into not reading past headlines. That's true, but even though you could read past the headline, and a lot of it could be based on assumption and hearsay. So the China stuff, the evidence that's been that I've seen would imply me to believe that not all of the cases have been shared globally. But that said, we're not doing the same thing in the UK. We don't include deaths of people outside of hospital. So if you die in hospital from coronavirus, you get a 1 added to the daily total. If you die in an old folks' home, that doesn't count. Those people don't exist. So even though, like, with what are we on now? 10,000 people? I don't even know how many people we're on. Like, another 50% of people have died, just haven't been in hospital, so haven't been counted towards those totals. So we're duking the stats as well, but a lot of people don't know that either. But yeah, anyway, that's a bit deep. We were talking about Gamescom isn't happening. See, that's what happens when we don't have a game show to look forward to. We start fucking. We all look like Shaun of the Dead stood outside local mayor's offices and things like that. I mean, BRB. I'm just going to go to Manchester to shout at Andy Burnham. Let me go back to work. And Andy Burnham, Mayor of Manchester, by the way. Just checking. Anyway, next news story. We'll add a little bit more positivity into the show. Let's get rid of the discussing news slate. As Crysis Remastered has been revealed and coming to the Nintendo Switch maximum resolution. This is written by Wesley Yin-Poole for the Eurogamer website, and it says Crysis Remastered has been revealed via the official website. As spotted on Twitter by user Lashman, Crytek's website confirms the open-world sci-fi first-person shooter is coming to Nintendo Switch for the first time, as well as PC, PS4, and Xbox One. So this is Lashman's tweet. It's at RobotBrush. It says Crysis Remastered brings new graphics features, high quality textures, and the CryEngine's native hardware and API agnostic ray tracing solution for PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and question mark for the very first time question mark Nintendo Switch. I'm guessing that's supposed to be some sort of asterisk or something, but oops. I'm gonna click on that and see what actually it takes us to. Dashes. So there we go. He's found it within the website. Oh no, someone's going to get slapped for that. Back to the news. Where was it? Oh no, it was on the same page. There we go. So here's the official line. Crysis Remastered brings new graphics, features, high quality textures, and the CryEngine's native hardware. I've just read that too, but there's a splash image too. There we go. Did you ever play Crysis?
I did. I didn't. I only played the first one, I think. But I remember this being the benchmark for people to find out how good their PCs was, because the CryEngine was so phenomenally good. It basically, it either threw your PC into the ground, or it looked absolutely phenomenal. So I think that I remember. Was it 2006, maybe?
2007.
2007.
Yeah, it says it in the article. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I just remember being in college at the time when the game came out, and that's how everyone was like benchmarking the PCs.
Does it run Crysis though? Was the question when someone got a new PC? Says ask him in the chat.
That was it. Like, does it run Crysis? That was like the whole benchmark of how your PC was. If you could run Crysis, you've got a shit out PC. So yeah, it just shows how far we've come. In terms of this being able to run on a Nintendo Switch. I mean, the statement that I made there makes it sound like the Nintendo Switch is a 10-year-old piece of hardware. But I mean, the CryEngine on that was phenomenal. So it'd be interesting to see how well this actually performs, because it's technically a remaster at this point. so it'll be upscaled and Christ knows what else. But yeah, brilliant game. I'm looking forward to see how it runs on the Nintendo Switch compared to stuff like Wolfenstein and Doom, which turns your Nintendo Switch into a hand grenade with how hot it makes it after pushing it to its absolute limits. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we can still say to each other, but can it run Crysis though?
Well, I mean, we'll say it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter as much, but we'll say it. We'll say it.
Yeah.
Continue with the article. Crysis launched in November 2007 and won plaudits for its freedom and impressive visuals and tech, with the steep specifications of the PC versions spawning the "but can it run Crysis" meme. Digital Foundry looked back at the game for its 10-year anniversary and revealed why Crysis is still melting the most powerful gaming PCs all these years later. Yeah, but can it run Crysis on me?
I can't wait for that meme to come back. It's going to be great.
I was going to say something, I can't remember what I was going to say now. I've got to jump back up and see if I can jog my mind. I can't remember what I was going to say. Ooh. Anyway, jump back through the chat then. Unfortunately, we live in a time where people have been conditioned to not read past that. We had that one. According to the facts, USA have it worse, but utter bull. China still have it worse. They have way more population for a start. Then again, though, are those facts? Which facts are right? How do you know? Have you had it proven? Have you seen it with your eyes firsthand? And this is my journalism degree coming back. Unless you've seen it with your eyes, then how do you know? You've been told, but how do you know that they're telling you for the right reasons? Conspiracy theories. Actually, I've got an Xbox sound effect. Where is it? It's over here somewhere. I don't even know what it is. Though. Pop, pop, pop. Anyway, that's enough of that. Oh yes, looking forward to this remaster, says Asim. Talking about Crysis Remastered. And it's telling what the majority of the sensationalist media sources are right-wing, i.e. Republican Tories, and then they turned everything down for the sequel so it could run on console. Okay, we jumped stories there. Okay, actually it was a very good game. The original visuals aside, the gameplay was great. AI and map/level design top-notch, says Asim, talking about Crysis Remastered. And David says it's ignoble prizes for dumb research, but I got the wrong awards, and the Darwin Awards I meant is for people who end up dying stupid with. Okay, there you go. So I was never able to know, but it does look class. This I remember playing. I never played much of it. I remember playing a bit of Crysis back in the day. Let's open this image back up. That looks pretty sick because my cousin John, who should have been getting married yesterday, day before, but had it all cancelled, and I did all of the best man duties and stuff a few weeks back, but he absolutely loved this game and swore by this game, but we were only playing it, scaled down console versions. We didn't have PC strong enough to run Crysis. I'm not even sure my PC is strong enough to run Crysis. Mine's a good bit of kit.
Yeah.
But it looks pretty sick, does that? See that? Look at how cool that looks. That's what I want. What was the Predator game that's just come out? Predator Hunting Grounds. I want Predator Hunting Grounds to look that good. Why does it not look that good? Oh, someone's having a barbecue. I can smell barbecues. Oh no. That's it. It's the end of the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, it's barbecue time. Okay, so if you have a Switch, PC, PS4, or Xbox, Crysis Remastered is inbound. Make sure you get it done. But something that isn't inbound, or at least not for a while, potentially, is this. GTA 6 is halfway done, but will only be moderately sized at first, claim insiders. This is written by GameCentral for Metro, and the article says that Rockstar's next game will definitely be GTA 6, but it may not be as big as you'd expect at launch, as developers try to avoid the crunch. Saying that Rockstar's next game is going to be Grand Theft Auto 6 may not be much of a revelation, but in recent months there's been a lot of speculation that they're working on something else. First, possibly a sequel to LA Noire. That may well also be in development, but a report by Kotaku suggests that GTA 6 will be Rockstar's next big project. The article is primarily about Rockstar's working practices, which were heavily criticised during the release of Red Dead Redemption 2 for relying on the crunch and forcing employees to work extreme hours for little or no extra pay. The crunch is a common problem throughout the games industry, but according to Kotaku, there has been significant change in Rockstar over the last 18 months. But that, in turn, could affect how GTA 6 turns out at launch, with one plan calling for a moderately sized release at first, which is then added to and expanded over time. That's moderately sized by Rockstar's standards though, so still probably bigger than most other open world games. It's certainly a plan that makes sense given how the company has constantly been updating GTA Online, except this time it's implied that the story mode would also be expanded in a similar manner. The Kotaku report confirms that Rockstar's next game is a new entry in the Grand Theft Auto series that is still in early development, with writer Jason Schreier adding that on Twitter that the next GTA is still a ways away. Schreier obviously has extensive sources at Rockstar, but fan 10 Funds 2 is also well respected in fan circles and has proven a reliable insider in the past, and yet he suggests that the game is halfway done or more. Rockstar is not one to rush a release, so it's likely that different sources within the company have different ideas of how far along the project is. At very least, there doesn't seem to be any question that GTA 6 is in development, even if its expected release date remains as elusive as ever. LA Noire or GTA 6? What would you prefer, babe?
That's a tough one. I really enjoyed. Samantha really enjoyed LA Noire as well. She likes all them crime scene games. I'm gonna try and get her on that one that was free on Epic Store that you told me to download, the Sherlock Holmes one, Crime and Punishment, I think it was.
Yeah.
She loves stuff like that. But to be fair, if I wanted a sequel of anything like that, it would 100% be Sleeping Dogs. I feel like that story could have gone on for another 2 games. I mean, I'm disregarding GTA here massively, but it all depends on the route, what they go down as to what I'm going to be getting from GTA. Sleeping Dogs, you inevitably knew what you were going to be getting if they made a new one. But GTA, it could be a million different things. Are we going to return to San Andreas? Are we going to go to Vice City? Are we going to have a completely different thing? Are we going to have a continued story in Los Santos? I have no idea, but yeah, a Sleeping Dogs game would have been for me anyway.
Well, Alpi in the chat says a sequel to LA Noire would be more exciting than GTA 6 for me. See, I'd be the other way. I have LA Noire. I bought LA Noire for my PS3, but I never finished it.
Oh, mate.
I just got...
What's a game?
I get sidetracked by any of the Rockstar games anyway. I have to force myself to carry on with the story, because if not, I'll just be like, yeah, of course, I'm going to go and do, oh, look, something shiny, oh, look, someone to mug, oh, look, a vehicle, and I just end up doing crap. But because LA Noire is very much, like, the storyline is important, because obviously you have to be paying attention enough to interrogate people and go through all of that sort of stuff, because I was... like going off of the story all the time and just on a tangent, checking down an alleyway. Oh, come back to the story. I forget what I'm doing, and I just it didn't stick with me. So yeah, I would put LA Noire after the likes of Red Dead and GTA. I'd put it'd be a definite third out of those 3 for me by a long way. I'd probably still put GTA first, although the first Red Dead was amazing. The second one, not as much. So I'd probably, in that order, GTA, Red Dead, and then LA Noire for me.
Yeah. I mean, return to any of those things. It's a mixed bag as to what we're going to get with Rockstar. Not that I'd ever judge them for their decisions, because every single time they put out a Grand Theft Auto game, it seems to bang. 4, for me, was probably the weakest one out of them all. Out of this generation's kind of... Well, I can't even say this generation, because they didn't even bring one out for this generation. They just put a port of GTA 5. But I loved 3. I loved San Andreas. I loved Vice City. 4, do you know what pissed me off the most about 4? It was the driving. If the driving was as good as it was in 5, and then even going back to Vice City and how they drove on that, it would have been fine. But... it
was annoying. I remember I got the game a couple of days early, because I knew a dodgy mate in retail kind of thing, and he was like, yeah, I'll sort you out. Yeah. So I got the game early, and I remember sat there thinking, there's got to be a patch or something, or I've got a dodgy version, because the driving on this is ridiculous. So I'm fully on board with you, agreeing with you on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I did actually start. I've got Grand Theft Auto 4 here in my collection. I did actually start it not that long ago again, just to refresh my mind on it. And yeah, the driving is just so annoying.
I think my issue with 4. I mean, well, there's a couple of issues. My biggest issue, if you take away the driving away, is, hey, cousin, let's go bowling. And Roman just ringing Nico every 5 seconds. Fuck off, that's too much side mission stuff. And this is someone that gets distracted by side missions and loves to go off fucking meandering somewhere. Don't make the meanders come after me, because then it's just forced and horrible. So that was one thing. But I just couldn't relate to Nico Bellic as I could to Tommy Vercetti or to Lance Vance or to, I can't remember any of the 3 guys from the new one by name now. But I can relate to all of those better than I could relate to Nico, and so
well, Tommy Vercetti wore a shit shirt, then he wore a flowery shirt. What more do you need in your video game character? Wearing a flowery shirt the entire game. It's fantastic stuff. And the soundtrack is the flowery shirt and the soundtrack. What more do you need?
I used to have, I think I've mentioned this to you before, I don't know if I mentioned it on the script before, I used to have on PezFan, when PezFan still existed, that was a Pez community website, as you can tell from the name, PezFan. Frankly, Michael and Trevor, that's it. I used to have a Master League story. So on PezFan, which was a Pez forum, you had all of the usual stuff that you get on most Pez forums, like option files and kits and formations and my club stuff and things like that. But within a Master League section, there was a bit called Master League Stories, and myself and a few other people, essentially, it was kind of like you watch someone that does a Master League YouTube series and a Master League Become a Legend series and things like that. Imagine that, but without video, because it was before video, YouTube existed, but just writing them in forum posts. And I used to have a Master League story called The City of Vice. I had Vice City FC, and the manager of the club was Tommy Vercetti. So it like the whole thing, you'd have to set the scene of where your club is, what the starting scene is. Oh, we've just been given. It was when Wembley Stadium randomly got put into Pez, so that became my home stadium. And the story for us being in the game was like we got fast tracked by it. We won some sort of FA scheme to be a competitive football team. We're playing at Wembley Stadium, Vice City FC, and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, anyway, that's what I did. That's how much that resonated with me. Go on.
One sec. Babe, come here. As someone that's played Grand Theft Auto, Sleeping Dogs, and L.A. Noire, if there was to make a sequel of any of them, what would you want? Tell the people.
Out of the 3?
Out of the 3, if there was to make a new one of any one of those.
Sleeping Dogs.
Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah.
I told you know what I mean? Sleeping Dogs was an absolute banger.
Yeah,
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. It was just a phenomenal game. The voice acting, the storyline, it was amazing.
From my experience, I don't think it was.
Lies and deceit.
That's because in my experience, I haven't.
Exactly, Sean Graham. That's right.
Yeah, that's because my experience, I haven't played it. I would actually like it. Is it on PS4, Sleeping Dogs?
It is, yeah, and usually you can find it in the bargain bin for about £2.50, £3.
Interesting.
It literally was just a port of the 360 version. Of the PS3 version. I don't even think that they even tweaked the graphics of it at all. But what a story! What a story! The voice actors that was in it as well. I'm sure there was like top class. Sleeping Dogs IMD 2012 it came out.
Just a question I've just seen in the chat. Wonder if the Euro 2020 stuff would have brought Wembley with it as its final venue, says Iceman. In Pez, it would have done. I thought that was the case. I just googled it. Wembley Stadium, the venue that was due to host this year's final, has been fully recreated and will also be included in the upcoming update. Football really is coming home. That's from Dream Team FC, obviously pre the announcement that it's not happening. So yes, it would have done. The DLC is still coming, just delayed. Yeah, exactly. I mean, as the announcement that was put out on social media this morning, Japan is in a state of emergency. So yeah, I have seen, and this is we've mentioned it before. Me and Asim have spoken about it on social media before as well, but we have discussed it on the show. Some people are absolute dicks. It's as simple as that. Japan is in a state of emergency. Not like they can't be arsed. They are in a state of emergency, and their update for PES for the Euro stuff is still coming. But, you know, they're trying to stay alive. And I've seen I've seen people going, this is bullshit. How could you... Wait, mate, have you been going to work? Is your work still progressing flawless? No. So not everyone can do the same. You're at the same boat, you absolute weapons. So many people I've seen being negative about it. State of emergency. Not.
Well, they're in a higher tier than us, aren't they? If you to go in alarms, they're in a state of emergency. We're just in like. They're not. We say lockdown, but it's really not, is it? You see dickheads having barbecues and having house parties and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
unless it gets absolutely forced, but a state of emergency over there, I'm pretty sure probably going to get shot if you go out on the streets at the moment in time.
That's
over
it.
there.
I mean,
you've got to cut them a bit of slack.
We're operating social distancing and voluntary isolation. That's what we're operating. We want you to look out for yourselves and do the right thing. Is essentially what the government is. That they're in a state of emergency, mate. So it's like, you absolute dickheads. I were really looking forward to that. And I've seen people going, and like even the comments that go, I understand the reasons for this, but it is a bit shit because we could have done with some stuff while we're all locked up indoors. Yeah, all right, but they would have to die to get you that stuff. Yeah, it's a bit sensationalist, but that's the thing. Yes, it would be nice to have that stuff indoors, and yes, they would love to get you that stuff whilst you're indoors. But you know, lives and that shit. Anyway, bit of a tangent there. Bit of a tangent. Woosah.
There you go. £4 for Sleeping Dogs on PS4.
What on?
PS4 store.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. Emma Stone was, yes, she was, and so was Tom Wilkinson as well. I'm sure is the British chief police officer in the game. Can't remember what his name was though.
Who's Tom Wilkinson?
The full Monty is in. Oh god.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, it's like one of my favourite films, and the title is completely gone out my head. Shit.
It wasn't, mate.
Tom Wilkinson.
You clearly mean Sense and Sensibility, don't you?
No, absolutely not.
Shakespeare in Love. That's the one you mean.
It's like literally, I know the films word for word. Oh my god.
He was in Batman Begins. He was in
Rock and Roller. That was it. He was in Rock and Roller. Have you seen Rock and Roller?
Possibly.
Brilliant film. Mark Strong in it as well.
Idris Elba. So yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Tandy Newton.
It's literally like a full-on cast.
I think
of superstars.
I think I've seen it, but I seem to remember it being like a rip-off, but not as well as like Lock Stocky kind of stuff, but higher budget and not British grittiness.
It's a Guy Ritchie film, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's what you'd expect.
So I think I've seen it, but I don't think. I don't remember much about it, but I think that's because it was an easy watch, but it didn't resonate with me in that sort of sense.
See, I think it's better than Lock, Stock, but I don't think it's quite as good as Snatch.
Do you like a bit of
Snatch? For me, out of pardon?
Do you like a bit of Snatch?
Your daughter.
I couldn't help it. Had to do it. Anyway, I think that's kind of a signal that we're almost done if we're making Snatch jokes. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back over the news. I'll give you a quick reminder that the PS5 is still likely to launch in 2020. Holiday 2020 is the release date that's been shared so far. Not a date, window at least. But supply is likely to be limited. So expect people to start trying to mark up because the world is full of shit people that want your money. Next up, Crysis Remastered has been revealed, aka leaked awkwardly, and it's potentially come to the Switch too, if it's all legit. And as well as that, Gamescom is not happening, at least not in a physical sense this year, but they are investigating options for doing it digitally. And as we've seen from the people at Gamescom already, they are very quick to react to things, so I wouldn't be surprised if within the next week or so, even that quickly, we'll have details about how they plan to do the online stuff, or at least where they're going with it. May not be, but that's what I kind of expect. And then finally, GTA 6, there's been loads of rumours about it just being started to work on. It's in very early development, but contrasting rumours say that it is also halfway done, so we may have a new GTA game sometime in the next 3 to 7 years, depending if it's halfway or fully done, or it could just, bullshit and it could be out in the next 9 months. We will see. Anyway, we are done for the day today. No streams following up from myself today. I've got some quiz stuff to be getting on with. For those of you that missed me chatting about yesterday, I am basically doing one of those Skype call quiz streams, but doing it using all of the sort of stuff that you see on stream right now. So it's all snazzy and sexy. What about you, babe? Are you jumping on with any... Did you say you're jumping in with some silent stream stuff tonight?
I will be doing some silent stream stuff tonight, yeah. It'll probably be like 10, half 10-ish. Don't know what gig I'm going to put on in the background. We had Oasis last night for 2 hours. It could be Arctic Monkeys tonight. I'm not sure. I'll find something, but I could potentially be going live sooner than that. A couple of lads want to play some pro clubs for an hour.
Ah, interesting.
So I just need to have a word with them first to tell them to be on their best behaviour because I. Woo! Go on.
Kangaroo says what you should do then is give Bib your Valorant key. Already redeemed it, mate. Bib was watching me play through it the other day.
I was. He shared his screen with me on Discord. I've got throughout the whole of this. Shout out to Sacriel because he's currently playing it, and I'm watching his stream in the background. I'm trying to farm this drop so bad. So we need to get the dream team going.
You goddamn right. You goddamn. I did actually
I'll get it soon.
have a chat with Connor of Ice Cream / Buzzkill fame, and he said he'd be up for some sort of content stuff. So if it's me, you, Connor, and another from Buzzkill, that's a 5-man team ready to set the world on fire. And when I say the world, I mean ourselves with friendly Molotovs.
Yeah.
Give him your login so it's not going to waste.
I still have to download it.
That's not actually a bad shout. That's not a bad shout, though, to be fair. Could potentially do that.
Well, I'm going to be farming this drop for today anyway. I won't be able to get it installed and played today, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. But I'd rather you keep yours and then me have my own.
Yeah.
Eventually, though, we're going to be able to play. So that's all I care about because I've been watching this game so much. I cannot wait to jump in.
Yeah. In the meantime, if you do have any Valorant keys going spare, feel free to donate them to the Bibby Foundation. You will see his little face light up on stream. When I say light up, I mean it will be lit up by everyone else that's shooting against us. But it's fine. It's fine. I'll be there too going, make it stop. But I think that's about it. Anything else you want to add, though, before we do disappear properly, babe?
Yes, we have one final show in terms of the scoop tomorrow. So if you do see any more of today's news was that so much better and it's probably been the best it's been for about 2 weeks. So if you do see anything that you want to hear, have your opinions echoed, then do feel free to tag in at We've Got Ubinio, at Graham_Day, and at Ice Cream Uploads. We'll take your thoughts and impressions, add our thoughts and impressions in the very last show, which is at what time tomorrow, Graham?
I don't know. We don't know actually because we were talking before we went on air. We could maybe have the show back at a more of a morning slot tomorrow. We will announce on social media though. I mean, the best thing you can do right now if you're sat here in the chat and you've liked what you've seen is to just hit the follow button because then you get notified when we go live. I mean, that could be for Pro Clubs, that could be for Elder Scrolls Online or Valorant or even the next edition of The Scoop. If we don't go early doors, it'll be 2 p.m. in the afternoon. If we do go early doors, expect it somewhere around 10 or 11 a.m.-ish. But, like I say, hit follow, you'll find out either way. But that's kind of it for the show, ladies and gentlemen. Have yourselves a very, very lovely day. And, as Kangaroo Dog has just said in the chat, stay frosty.